多分鶏の足でも数えられるくらいだと思う。
Renata seemed pretty sleep deprived as well. And there was something missing from her usual spirit.
学校行くか？
うん、その方がね、きっといいと思うの。
She said, smiling, albeit stiffly. And I was probably worrying her heart out about those two as well. Even so, she wanted to go to school.
今日をお休みしたら、きっと圭一くんは病んで寝込んじゃうと思う。私、そんなの嫌だから。だから、一緒に学校に行こ
う。わかった。ちょっと待っててくれ。すぐ支度するから。
I was just a little bit happy about Rena mustering that much consideration for me. We went to the place where we usually meet up with Mion, but she was nowhere to be found. We were a little bit late today, so we thought she'd be waiting for us.
う。みーちゃん、さすがに今日は起きられないかもね。
あ、そうか。あいつにとっては昨日だけじゃないんだよな。一昨日の晩も村長さんを探して徹夜してるんだよな。
We waited for a bit. Time passed until it got to the point where it was okay for us to go on alone. And we exchanged glasses.
どうする？もう少し待つか？
At that point, my brain, which had finally been woken up by the morning air, recalled the ominous words Oishi-san had left me with last night. Nothing better to wake you up than with the weird stuff that is happening in Hinamizawa. There will surely wake up people in this village. You're just getting more and more used to the life of Hinamizawa person. The leaders of the three families were disappearing one after the other. And then next, it might be the Sonozaki's leader. And yeah, there's also that. Could Mion have... No, that couldn't be.
行こう。今日は寝かせておいてあげようよ。
Rana gave me a pat on the back.
ミオン、本当にいるよな。
何か言ったかな？
あ、いや、独り言。行こうぜ。
The two of us headed to school by ourselves. On the way, we saw a bunch of our classmates accompanied by their parents. It even looked like some of them were being taken to school by car. Yeah, they would be extra careful. Surprisingly, the principal was also standing watch at the school gate. I'd never seen that before.
おはようございます。
おはようございます。
The principal was bowing to our classmates' gardens. The wooden sword leaning next to him was a little ominous.
前原くん、おはよう。龍宮くん、おはよ
おはようございます。
Ohayo, principal.
う。先生から大切なお話があるから、すぐに教室に入るように。いいかね？
Ren and I said nothing. The madness that only existed at night had finally crawled out into the sunlight. And that's what it felt like.
皆さん、おはようございます。
Oof, okay. Either this is gonna be a really sad special lesson from Chie and the principal, or it's gonna be exciting news. By that I mean, like, you know, sad that they're gonna tell us about Rikan Satoko's disappearance. Or it could be exciting and they are gonna tell us, hey, things are bad like right now, so we're deciding that we're gonna postpone / put the school on hiatus. So everybody will stay home, like at safety. No more school anymore. And then the kids will be all like, yay! The hushed conversations that had been spreading for a while now all disappeared like an illusion the moment our teacher walked in the door. Silence dominated the classroom. The principal came in with our teacher as well. This was clearly not a normal morning.
まず、校長先生から大切なお話があります。
Alright, well, sure. Bring it, old man.
校長先生、どうぞ。
As long as you don't yell out a particular someone's name, that is. You don't want to scare the kids, though. The principal cleared his throat and approached the dais.
もう知っている生徒もおるだろ
The classroom was dead silent. Everyone was staring at Rika-chan and Sakutoko's empty seats. The principal briefly and simply declared that Rika-chan and Satoko had gone missing. There wasn't a single person in the classroom who didn't already know. There seemed to be many, however, who couldn't accept it as truth. Had been confirmed to them now by the principal's words. There were sobs throughout the classroom. I heard a kid crying. And God knows what those two boys that we met before are probably thinking of. They especially liked Satoko and Rika. They steadily spread throughout the whole room. The big-hearted principal wasn't able to keep his cool either.
はい、皆さん注目注目。今日から当分の間、登下校は保護者の方と一緒に行います。
Oh, so no school hiatus? We're still going to school for this?
保護者の方の都合がつきにくい生徒は、集団での登下校とします。
Aye.
プリントを作りましたので、よく読み、保護者の方にも必ず見せてください。
Aye.
いいですね。
The teacher's voice was a little aggressive. Not even she could conceal the strain she felt from this unprecedented abnormal situation. You should have just canceled school today. Yeah, you know, Keiichi is thinking the same way I do. Just cancel the school, like entirely. However, Rena told me that the school was also like a nursery for the students whose parents both worked, so some of them wouldn't want school to be cancelled. Okay, fine. Don't cancel school.
では、授業を始めます。
Yeah.
委員長はお休みですね。では日直、号令。起立。
That feeling of wanting to maintain an everyday atmosphere, even if only in school, precisely because our lives had been messed up, was something that I agreed with at this point. As for the teacher, who always had her lunch in the staff lounge, she ate in the classroom today. Oh my. I had to laugh at her curry bento, which was just a rumor until now, but there was nobody to laugh with me. When I brought her a chair and lunched over to my seat. Today it was only the two of us. Yeah. Rena is absent, Rika and Satoko have disappeared, so it's only Rena with us here. The fact that we didn't need to drag any other desks all over was, sad.
眠いね。
ああ、でももうそんなに気にならなくなったよ。むしろ今寝れるくらいのずぶとい神経が羨ましい。
そうかもね。
I was sleepy this morning, but my drowsiness had dissipated after coming to school and constantly feeling the incredible tension. Rena's bento box didn't have its usual luster. That was to be expected. Rena was up for a long time last night too. She wouldn't have had to make her lunch beforehand, since it's not like she would have gotten up early this morning.
遠慮なくつっつけよ。今日は素直に俺の弁当の方が立派なのを認めろ。
じゃあ遠慮なくいただくね。ああ、しそチーズのちくわ巻きなんて面白いな。
レナのだって今日のはレトルトだろうけどなかなかうまいぞ。
I realized the two of us were desperately trying to brighten the afternoon mood to its usual level as much as we could. I looked around the classroom, and it seemed like we were the only ones trying to do so, surrounded as we were by gloominess.
こうして二人だけでお弁当をつつき合ってると、なんだかなんだかだよね。
Our laughter grew quieter. I was the first one to mess up.
ごめん。悪かった。
いいよ。仕方ないよ。
Our chopsticks both stopped moving. We couldn't keep it up anymore.
リカちゃんとサトコ、どこに行ったんだろうな。
Those words might have sounded too miserable. Everyone was thinking it, using roundabout ways to address the topic. But I came right out and said it. I read it when I catch her breath.
昨日ね、ケイチくんがいなくなってる間にいろいろと話を聞いてたから、レナの知ってる限りを話すね。
Well?
昨べはすまなかった。頼む。
At the time, since they had a right for support, when I was helping the ladies' society cook the miso soup we had. They reported all the information the villagers had gathered. Everyone said she overheard it.
でも、結局何もわからなかったんだろう。学校が終わってから家に帰って、二人で自転車に乗ってどこかへ行ったらしいということ以外は全く。
Mia had told me yesterday. We had no clues.
警察の人も家に帰ってからすぐに自転車で遊びに行ったんだろうって言ってる。家に帰ってからすぐに自転車で遊びに行くところといったら町かもしれないでしょ。だから沖宮の町でいなくなったんじゃないかって結論になってるみたい。警察は明るくなってから捜査範囲を沖宮にも広げるって言ってた。
In town. It makes sense why we couldn't find him even though we searched all of Hinamizawa then. Still, something didn't fit. I had no basis for thinking that. Just a good feeling. I revealed something to Rika-chan that was likely very important to her that day. And then Rika-chan had told me to leave it to her. And then... what did she say? Alright. If she didn't work hard, then something bad might happen to the dog too, I think. With all the talk of dogs and cats, I still don't have the faintest idea what she really meant, but it might have been Rika-chan's way of saying this was a race against time. Damn it. I'd selfishly pushed my anxiety on Rika-chan and tried to run away. When I thought about it, I shouldn't have run back then. I asked her more about the dogs and cats. The more I think back on it, I really screwed up. Anyway, I don't think Rika-chan was in a situation where we should just go off to play somewhere. Of course, I didn't have any evidence of or conviction to base that on. It was just a hunch.
町なんかに行くわけないと思うんだ。
ケイチ君もそう思う？レナもそう思うよ。リカちゃんもサトコちゃんもひなみ沢でいなくなったに違いないの。
I looked back at Rana, startled. I could hear the conviction in those words. Without replying to my gaze, she took her bento box and went to the hallway.
お弁当箱を洗ってくるね。
She timed that in a way that broke off the conversation. Suddenly, I got a feeling that the next thing she had to say would be hard to say aloud in the classroom. I guess we're continuing this like outside. I hurriedly grabbed my bento box and followed her. Okay. Rena didn't go to the kitchenette, but rather to the water fountains out back, where students seldom went. The water flowed down onto the bento boxes. During that time, Rena didn't say a word. Then, after making sure there were no other students around, she finally opened her mouth to speak.
リカちゃんとサトコちゃんが町に遊びに行っていなくなったなんて、なんだか腑に落ちなくて、私なりにいろいろ聞いたり調べたりしたの。
聞いた？何を？
婦人会のおばさんたちにいろいろ。昨日のお味噌汁、お豆腐がいっぱい入ってたでしょ？ 富田豆腐店のおばあちゃんも来てたの。
The Tomita Tofu Shop. Oh, I remember. That was one of the stores on the road leading to the hospital. That was huge. Lumps of tofu dancing in the bathtub like cisterns. Always look nice and refreshing.
おばあちゃんね、昨日学校の帰り道にさとこちゃんがお店に寄ってお豆腐を買っていったのを覚えてたの。
豆腐？学校の帰り道にだろ。それが何か手がかりになるのか？
いいから聞いて。リカちゃんの家に行った時のこと覚えてるかな？
Yes. Rena stepped away from the sinks and spread her arms wide to recreate the space of Rika-chan's room.
ガス台にお鍋がかけてあって、その中にお味噌汁が入ってたの。
I see. So you're saying that she went to that tofu shop and you asked there.
中にはお豆腐が多分一丁の半分くらい入ってたと思う。残りの半分は冷蔵庫の中にあったの。冷ややっこにするつもりだったんだね。お皿に開けてラップがかけてあった。
As Rena explained, she walked around as if she were really going through Rika-chan's room. Well, I mean, hot damn. That, you saw that in the refrigerator. I remember last night, like, you were opening the refrigerator, and we said, well, you're not going to be able to find Rika and Satoko there. Or was it the other way around? Maybe Rika said that or maybe it was Rena who said that Rika and Satoko may be inside. But nonetheless, you were investigating some stuff inside the refrigerator to get some clues, and this is your result.
でもレナ、それが何だって言うんだ？
ケイチくん、お味噌汁のお豆腐って本当に最後の最後に入れるんだよ。つまりお料理してたリカちゃんか、もしくはさとこちゃんはお夕飯の時間の直前まであそこに立って料理をしていたことになるの。
That is a good point.
夕食の時間の直前まで？
So it's not as if they went home and straight went with the bikes. They actually made some food and then went with their bikes. If it was something that they had planned, then they wouldn't have made the food in the first place. So that means that whatever happened for Rika and Satoko to go on their bikes or disappear with the bikes, it was something sudden. Wasn't anyone saying that their bikes went around, so they must have gone somewhere to play by themselves?
三角コーナーのゴミを見たらすごく不吉祥だった。食事やお弁当はほとんどリカちゃんが作ってるんだけど、たまにね、さとこちゃんがすることもあるの。だからその晩はさとこちゃんがお料理したんだね。
それってつまりさとこに関しては遊びに行かず夕食の準備をしてたってことなのか？
うん。それで私炊飯釜も見てみたの。炊飯釜には2人分のご飯が炊けていた。
ってことは2人分の夕飯は作ったけど2人とも夕飯は食べなかった、そういうことか？
Rena nodded.
それで次に冷蔵庫の中も見てみたの。そうしたら残り半分のお豆腐で作った冷ややっこがあったの。それだけじゃない。お夕飯用に作ったおかずも何皿かあって、それらにはみんなラップがされていた。
Usually plastic wrap things so that you can have leftovers for the next day. My mom does it all the time too, using them in breakfast or lunch.
そう。ラップって食べ残しとかを取っておくためにするものだよね。冷蔵庫に入れたということは、少なくともその晩のうちには食べないつもりだったということ。
そういうことになるのか？
ケイチくん、もっとよく考えて。お夕飯を全く手つけずでラップしてあったんだよ。どういうことだと思う？
じゃあ夕食を食べる必要がなくなったわけだ。外食とか出前とかで。
それも突然にね。前もって決まっていたらお料理なんかしない。
Yeah, that is true.
そして お夕食は2人分用意されていた。つまりさとこちゃんは2人で食事ができると本当に直前までそう思って料理をしていたということなの。
Yeah. So, I guess it wasn't a case of Rika and Satoko going home and then talking, hey, I heard some stuff from Keiichi. This is some serious stuff. I think that we should do something this night. And we should do something about it. And then just go. And it kind of makes you question if Rika even said anything to Satoko about it. What if it has nothing to do with what Keiichi said?
じゃあ二人で遊びに行っていなくなったというのは間違いじゃないか。
It might be.
そう、つまりいなくなったのはお夕飯ができて夕食に至るまでの本当にわずかな時間。多分7時頃くらい。
そんな時間に食事もせずに二人はどこへ行ったんだ。
当然そこに行き着くよね。圭一くん覚えてるかな。折りたたみ机が置いてあって、その上にお醤油や箸立てなんかが置いてあったのを。
It might have been something like that. I didn't remember.
お醤油の小瓶ね、空っぽだったの。もう一滴も入ってなかった。これじゃあ冷ややっこは美味しくないよね。だから私、流しの下にある醤油の大瓶を探してみたの。
よくそんなところにあるって知ってるな。
私もリカちゃんの家に行ってお料理したことあったから。
Rena cleared her throat, her face returning to a serious expression.
でね、流しの下を開けてみたら醤油の大瓶が瓶ごとなかったの。
醤油の大瓶がないとどういう意味になるんだ。
Oh, okay, so we're going with the idea that, okay, they made the tofu and all that, and then they just realized, ah, fuck, we don't have any soy sauce. Well, time to go to buy some soy sauce. Is that where you're leading to?
ここから先は全部レナの想像だからね。だから最後まで口を挟まずに聞いていてね。
Last night, Satoko was making dinner like normal. Rika-chan usually watched TV until the food was ready, so she was probably lying down watching a variety show or something. Satoko put the tofu in the miso soup, and right when the dinner was about to be ready, she noticed that they were out of soy sauce. So Rika-chan, who had nothing to do, brought a big bottle of soy sauce to a neighbor's house to bottle theirs.
俺ご近所付き合いってよくわからないんだが、醤油なんかって分けてもらえるものなのか。
うん、Hinamizawaではそんなに珍しいことじゃないよ。
So Rika-chan rode her bike out to get some soy sauce. No matter how long Satoko-chan waited though, Rika-chan didn't come back. So then Satoko had called up the house where Rika-chan was going. Would Rika happen to be imposing on you? Something like that. Then the other person must have replied with something like
う
this.
ちに食事の用意があるから、さとこちゃんもいらっしゃい。リカちゃんはもう食べてるよって。きっとそんな感じで呼び出したんだと思う。
Satoko called Rika a few names in private and wrapped up the dinner she had made for them. She put it in the fridge so she could use it for breakfast and lunch the next day. And Satoko got on her bike too, and headed for the house where Rika-chan was.
でもすでにこの時点でおかしいの。食事ってね、突然やってきた人に振る舞えるほど多めに作るものじゃないんだよ。
A veteran housewife would never normally make so much food that she could feed 2 extra people.
たまたま偶然作りすぎたことだって考えられるだろう。
I mean, this is just one possibility. Maybe it's something along the lines of, hey, Rika-chan is taking so long. Satoko calls that house, and they're asking about Rika, and the house is gonna say, Rika? We haven't heard of Rika. Like, was she gonna come after us? And then Satoko realizes that Rika disappeared. So she went after Rika to find her. Something like that. But you're saying that they actually went to that house. Rika was there and even ate. And she already eaten without Satoko. I mean, that's really sus. So, like, Rika would not eat, like, already without Satoko. And then the person that says, hey, you can come with us too. You can come to our house. And Satoko just went there as well. That's pretty suspicious.
それでも絶対に考えられない。
Rena flatly denied me.
だってリカちゃんはさとこちゃんが頑張って作ったお夕飯がもうできてることを知ってるんだよ。どんなにお夕飯を勧められたってさとこちゃんのお夕飯を無駄にするようなことをするわけがない。
This is all only circumstantial evidence of Rena's guesswork. Even so, it was all extremely convincing. It was the only ray of hope we had to topple this situation bereft of clues.
じゃあレナ、リカちゃんはどこへ醤油をもらいに行ったんだ？
Yeah, I mean, if you are thinking about your idea that Rika went to that house and ate and all that, and then Satoko came as well, then you must have some clue for that particular possibility. That was the heart of it. It would have to be somewhere she'd be comfortable with asking for soy sauce, and somewhere Satoko wouldn't think it's suspicious that she'd be invited for dinner. Hey. It would be Mion's house, isn't it? So, who was it? Rena saw his sugarhead.
レナの推理はここまで。あくまでも想像だからね。警察の人とかには内緒にしておいてね。
隠すことはないんじゃないか。仮に半分しか会ってないとしてもきっとヒントにはなると思うぞ。
ケイチ君、これってひなみ沢の人を疑うって意味だよ。確信もないのに村の人を疑えない。
I saw a few girls coming over to rinse out their bento boxes. When I cut the conversation short there and returned to the classroom. So... I mean, might as well. I'm gonna do a little bit of theory crafting right over here that I have been thinking of in my spare time. Let's sit around the campfire, sit around the table for like 20 minutes or so. So, like while I'm talking about this right over here. So, you know, ever since that talk with Rika, like in this exact position right over here, about the cat that would go inside the storehouse, and how to me it felt like she was talking about a completely different cat that said that they were always curious about what was inside the storehouse. And the girls would say, no, you're not allowed to go inside there. But the curiosity got the best out of the cat, and the cat just went inside and then just ran away, all scared, panicking, meow, 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 meow. Like, I've been thinking about the similarities between Satoshi and Keiichi in the first chapter, and how Keiichi would end up with the same fate as Satoshi. And the whole thing with the bat, using the same bat, using, like, being transferred the same way. And I was thinking that maybe something like this would happen in this chapter as well. Like, we find even more similarities between Satoshi and Keiichi. In the sense that, well, Satoshi last year went inside that storehouse as well. And after that, he went completely missing. That could be possible. So, I've been thinking, if we are to go even further with the similarities between Satoshi and Keiichi, given that now we find out in this chapter that, hey, maybe Mion has some feelings for Keiichi. And even more so, maybe Shion has some feelings for Keiichi as well. Maybe in the past, Mion or Shion, or maybe both of them, have also had feelings for Satoshi. And maybe a part of that reason why Mion and Shion or Shion are having feelings, possible feelings for Keiichi is because he reminds them of Satoshi, like a lot. Or maybe there's the possibility of some revenge plan going on right around here. Because we also know that Shion and Mion have some difficult past. They surely must have fought about something in the past. They have a strained relationship for reasons unknown. So I've been thinking randomly, what if that reason is Satoshi? Maybe Satoshi went inside the storehouse and Shion is thinking that it's because of Mion. And so, like, I mean, besides Satoko being cursed and all that, maybe Shion thinks that Mion is at fault for this as well. So in present day, you have Keiichi over here, who is very similar to Satoshi, and Shion is doing all this spiel with Keiichi and all that, you know, being with Keiichi and dragging him around at with hands intertwined as such, and even grabbing that doll near the toy shop and like rubbing it in Mion's face while at it. And then finally, you end up with the Shion and the Keiichi inside the storehouse, sort of like a message to Mion, like, hey, if Satoshi went inside because of your fault, well, I'm gonna bring Keiichi inside, like as a payment for what you did, because you like Keiichi so much. Because Shion knows that Mion likes Keiichi, and thus Shion is doing all this just to have like a payback on Mion and all that. Something along the lines of, well, if I cannot have Satoshi, then you cannot have Keiichi either. Yeah. So yeah, maybe there is that possible reason for bringing Keiichi inside the storehouse. Maybe. In that sense, and this also makes me think that Mion last night was Shion. That she was having that breakdown about Sotoko, and she was having that description for Satoshi as well. That kind, innocent person, Satoshi, who was such a hard worker and did all, like, everything for her little sister. And he disappeared. Because the cursed child Satoko. So, in that sense, it brings back to this moment right over here, what Rena was talking about. A place where Rika would go to, that she is familiar with, to get some soy sauce from. And same case for Satoko to just go there, like, oh, safely and all that. It would be Mion's house. But in actuality, instead of Mion, it was Shion at that point. Shion was disguising herself as Mion, who got called by Rika and Satoko to get there to have quote-unquote dinner together, and that is where they disappeared. Yeah. Crazy theory, am I right? And also to add that, and that would mean that Shion was at Mion's place. So it would make sense if Rena called for Mion's place, where Shion was. That would also imply that when we were talking with Shion last night, before finding out that Rika disappeared and Satoko disappeared, we were talking to Shion while she was at Mion's place, not at her own place. So, yeah. It will be something, but I don't really have like any evidence for that. It's just speculation. It's just ideas right over here. I stayed there alone. My body bathed in the lively voices of the cicadas. let's think about this in my own way. Rena had barely any information to go on, and yet she'd reasoned out that much. So there should be something that only I, who knew far more than Rena did, could deduce. Oishi-san said this last night too, but this incident was definitely occurring within Hinamizawa. Rena might not have wanted to believe it, but it's basically a given that the culprit is someone from the village. The trigger for everything that was when the four of us trespassed in the Forbidden Storehouse. Somebody's soul is going in there. For the culprits, breaking the taboo was a crime punishable by death. So that night, Tomitake-san and Takano-san were sacrificed. There were two left. Shion and myself. However, before the culprits poured their fangs on Shion and me, they went after the mayor, to whom Shion had confessed her sin. Next, they went for Rika-chan, to whom I'd confessed my sin. Then what about Satoko? Just a stray bullet? By itself, Rika-chan being sacrificed after I told her everything was mortifying. But Satoko, who was sacrificed for no reason, wasn't that all the more regrettable? Everything was my fault. Who would be the next to disappear? Would it be Shion and me next time? Why? Why weren't the culprits going for Shion and me right away though? If they had enough power to erase the mayor and Rika-chan, why not just get rid of Shion and me? If they went for us, well, I wouldn't like it, but I could still tolerate it. Even if I died. What I couldn't forgive was them getting rid of those who had confessed to. Now that I think of it, yesterday, Shion said something alarming. She felt like someone was watching her. So then, was someone watching me as well? Strangely though, I hadn't felt anything like that until now. Even though I'm the root cause of everything, I never once had that impression. Unless, according to my theory that I just made right now, maybe the culprit was right under our noses! Woo! Maybe that was simply because Shion was more cautious than me, and I was just careless. And that's another story though. Let's get back on track. Why weren't the culprits going after Shion and me? I feel like that's where the key to this lay. Could it be? Was I making a big assumption that I shouldn't have been? I fought and fought, but couldn't come up with an answer. The one thing I understood was that I was concerned party to this case, and that I had a duty to watch over until everything got resolved. I heard the ring of the bell declaring the end of lunch break. Would somebody else disappear tonight? If nobody else did, then I wanted them to get rid of me tonight for sure. Alright, well don't say that. And put an end to all of this. Shion's hysterical voice on the phone last night came back to mind. He planned to murder those close to us first, and make us as miserable as possible, and only then would they kill us. And again, according to my previous theory that I said before, if it was Shion who made the Rika and Satoko disappear, then her having like this meltdown right over here would be to make Keiichi scared, knowing full well that next Rika and Satoko are about to disappear, proving that the meltdown to be true in Keiichi's eyes.
前原君、昼休みは終わりであるぞ。
What are you doing here? Principal?
教室に戻りなさい。
At the principal's urging, I returned to the classroom, which was quiet as a street at night. Look at the principal doing his work right over here, like going around, making sure that no student would disappear. There were a lot of parents picking up their children after school. You know, it's just like a kindergarten. The students whose parents didn't come went home as a group. Left school with everyone else, following the assigned route. Even while leaving, nobody said anything funny. They all looked like exhausted mountaineers silently marching through the mountains. As we went, one left, and then another, And in the end, it was just Rena and me. I was supposed to escort Rena all the way to her house, but she declined.
本当にいいのか？一人じゃ不用心だぞ。
レナを送った後、一人で帰る圭一くんだって同じくらい不用心だよ。まだ明るいんだもの。大丈夫。
そうか。じゃあ気をつけてな。
あれ？あれ、警察の人じゃないかな。
Rena pointed towards my house. Oh. Is it Oishi? There was a car stopped in front of it. Ah, yeah. You know, Oishi did mention that he is gonna come around often, like daily, and, you know, nudge Keiichi in the shoulder until he speaks. And all that. He is gonna do that, I guess. Anyway. From out of that car came Oishi-san. He must have been waiting for my return to ambush me. Oishi-san started walking over wearing that annoying grin. Uh-oh. He's the spooky man coming after us. Run away!
レナはもう行きな。あいつに絡まれると長い。
でも、どうして警察の人が圭一くんに用があるんだろう。
Taro. Rena's a good person. Even when I made a fuss over Rika-chan's disappearance, she never asked me why I did. She could have been suspecting me ever since then, and that would have been okay. Even so, she still hadn't asked me anything. She didn't try and pressure me into revealing the truth.
俺は犯人じゃない。
そんなの知ってるよ。
でも、事件に何の関わりもないとは言い切れない。
At least I know for sure that Keiichi is not the culprit. Unless there is some unreliable narration going on, but as far as I can see, nah, that doesn't seem to be the case. Rena simply listened, smiling like she always did. Even though I had insinuated I was related to the incident, she didn't look... Well, technically there is some... There could possibly be some unreliable narration in the first chapter, but that is because the curse, I'm thinking. She didn't look at me as though she were looking at something dirty.
今度話すよ。
As far as I can see, Keiichi is not at that berserk mode the way he went, like at the entrance of his house in the first chapter. He didn't go berserk with all this anxiety going on. He should be at this point though. There's a lot of chaos here.
待ってるね。
じゃあ早く行きな。
Rena gave me a slight bow and trotted away, leaving me alone with Oishi-san, who walked over.
どうもどうも。
どうもどうも。
おかえりなさい、前原さん。
どうも。
ご家族はお留守みたいですね。いやはや困っていたんですよ。
He came all the way to my house? Can only thank my good fortune that my parents were absent. Since neither of them was around at this hour, they will probably be back late.
親父の仕事の関係で出かけてるんだと思います。帰りは遅いと思いますよ。
そうですか。それは好都合です。親御さんに変な思いをさせずに済みます。
Oishi-san pushed my back, prompting me to walk. It seemed like he wanted to get me in the car.
警察に連行するんですか？
I wasn't the culprit, but I was the cause of everything. It wouldn't be weird if he wanted to investigate me. That kind of gave me a resigned feeling.
いえいえ、立ち話もなんですから、車の中でお話ししようってだけですよ。さあ、どうぞどうぞ。
He opened the back door and urged me inside. If I got in, I wouldn't have a very easy time getting out. If I said no, however, then this man might really handcuff me and take me away. I couldn't refuse. I could only accept in a good grace. Well, at least we have the AC for us. The inside of the car had been cooled too much by the air conditioner, and there was a rusty smell coming from the filter, which must have been cleaned only rarely. Ooh, the AC.
ありゃ、冷えすぎます？
Nah, it's perfect.
切りましょうか。
He turned off the engine and suddenly became quiet. And the voices of the Higurashi, with all their cool loneliness, snuck inside. Quack, 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 sounded to me like a chorus of voices, lamenting my exorbitant punishment for having harbored such foolish curiosity. For a few moments, while listening to those voices, I myself lamented the days that had been twisted and distorted since that night. Wish-san, as if waiting for me to voluntarily begin talking, I lit a cigarette and listened to the Higurashi. The silence became deafening, and I was the one who folded first.
捜査の方はどうなってるんですか？
操作何のですか？最近はいっぱいありすぎてどれのことやら。
全部です。
いいですよ。本当は報道管制の敷かれた秘密捜査なんですが、あなたには特別に聞かせてあげましょう。じゃあ最初の事件からいきます。
Oh, you mean 1970? Dude, are we having like another history? But something tells me that we're gonna have a lot of history recaps in these chapters. The freak deaths of Tomitake-san, Takano-san, the night of Watanagashi.
こっちはお恥ずかしいかな。さっぱり進展なしです。
Okay, there you go. So he's not gonna walk us through all the years that we went through.
まずは富武さん。集団で暴行を受けた形跡はあるのですが、自分の喉をかき破るなんて異常な死に方の説明がつかないんです。
Did Keiichi ever learn how Tomitake and Takano died?
何らかの薬物中毒を疑っているんですが、検出はされませんでした。
高野さんはどんな感じなんです？
同じくさっぱりです。焼死死体は検視が非常に困難でして、首を絞められた後にガソリンをかけられたんじゃないかと見ています。管轄がお隣の県警さんでね。あちらさん、自分たちの縄張りの事件だからってあんまり協力的じゃないんですよ。おっと、これは関係ない話ですね。
So the police didn't know anything other than the fact that the victims died inexplicably.
ですが犯行時間はおおむねお祭りが終わった直後だろうと見ています。高野さんの方はちょっとあやふやですが、富武さんとほぼ同じ時刻に殺害され、山中に遺棄されたと考えるのが妥当でしょうな。
どうしてわざわざ遠くの山まで死体を運んだんでしょう。富武さんも同じように遠くへ運べばよかったのに。
ありゃ、前原さん、あなたなかなかどうして鋭いですね。もちろん私もそこは注目すべき点だと思っていますよ。他にもいくつか不審点はありますが、まあ現時点でお話しできるのはこのくらいです。
村長さんの方はどうですか？何か手がかりはありましたか？
Having exhausted that topic, I changed the subject. Otherwise, he might turn the conversation on me.
失踪された一日の足取りを調べました。手がかりになるようなものは見つかりませんでしたが、一応お話ししましょうか。
The mayor, Kiichiro Kimiyoshi. Apparently, he was suffering from severe hemorrhoids.
古い生まれの方って非常にプライドが高いんですよね。それで村長さん、誰にも内緒で鹿骨市内にある大学病院の失踪当日、村長さんは診察の予約が取ってあったんで、朝一で出かけられました。
Even I knew that big hospitals, like university hospitals, had a really long waiting time. Apparently, people would get in line hours beforehand, even if they had an appointment.
診察が終わったのは午後1時頃です。その後、病院内のレストランで軽食を取られ、雑誌を読みながら時間を潰されました。この辺りのことは、自宅にあったお財布の中のレシートで分かってます。
There was nothing suspicious at all about that.
その日は夕方から神社の集会場で会合の予定があったんです。それで余裕を持ってお帰りになるはずだったんですが、途中電車で人身事故がありましてね。どうもそれで足止めを食ってしまったらしく、家に着いたのは会合の時間の直前でした。 ご家族が大慌てで神社の集会場に出かけていく村長さんを目撃しています。
会合ってのは何だったんですか？確かその会合の帰り道に失踪してるんですよね。
会合は御三家と町会の主要役員が集まってのものでした。今年も起こってしまった連続開始事件の対応について協議したものと思われます。
So then, on his way home, the old man who had treated Shion like his own daughter was a dependable person who would encourage Shion whenever she felt pressured by anxiety. And yet, Shion's painful voice struck me right in the heart. I mean, look, Keiichi is not even mentioning Mion in that equation, because the mayor was also really good with Mion as well. He's just thinking more about Shion here.
あれ？
どうなさいました？
I was taken aback by how strange my own voice sounded. What was it that just surprised me? I squeezed my head with my hands to try and drag back out what I had only realized for a split second. Remember, Keiichi, my brother. Just realized something. Something important. What is it? Spit it out, man! The night of Watanagashi. And that was when everything started. That night, Takano-san and Tomitake-san died. The next morning, word of the incident had spread throughout Hinamizawa. They planned to talk about it during the evening meeting. The mayor, however, had an appointment at the hospital, and as planned, he went there without telling his family. He got a checkup at the hospital. Really? No. I think they actually said it before, and I just completely missed the detail. But now that Keiichi is mentioning here in the narration, that actually, that actually helps me a little bit with what I was thinking before. I mean, Keiichi did go to the hospital as well in the first chapter. He got a checkup at the hospital, ate something. And then there was an unexpected delay on his train ride back. When he returned, the meeting was already about to start. The mayor changed clothes, got on his bicycle, and hurried to the assembly hall of the shrine as fast as he could. From when he heard about the incident on the night of Wanagashi, until when he showed up at the assembly hall, everything he was doing that day was done in secret. During that time, nobody found out that. He went to the hospital alone. He ate alone. And he got on the train alone. That all meant he had absolutely no contact with anyone else. Well, besides the hospital, he couldn't have even called him on the phone. Ah yeah, you mean you couldn't call him like at all. On the, like here. Okay, but what does that mean, Keiichi Maibara? Why does that matter, Keiichi Maibara?
ケイちゃん、私どうしよ
どうした？話せよ。俺たちの間で隠し事はなしだろ？
う。私、君吉のおじいちゃんに打ち明けたんです。
I told him everything. I told old man Kimiyoshi everything.
村長さんに私、あの晩最後でに忍び込んだこと打ち明けたんです。
Wait, that night?
誰かにそれを見られてて、私たちを狙っている人がいるって。
ああ、それで？
君吉のおじいちゃん、怒らなかった。そして、にっこり笑って、しおちゃんがちゃんと反省してるなら、鬼隠しになんかなるものかって、本当に笑いながら、任せなさいって。
Sweat burst out of my body like bullets. And it became one long strand and slid down from my forehead to my nose and fell. So then, What does it mean? Hey, Keiichi Maibara, no more playing dumb. When did she tell him? She once said she learned of the incident from a phone call her father had made that morning. The mayor had left the house first thing in the morning for his appointment at the hospital. He didn't tell anybody where he was going. Nobody knew about him going to the university hospital. Furthermore, his train ride back to his house was delayed by an accident. As soon as he got home, he rushed out to the assembly hall. Then the meeting at the assembly hall began, and continued until it was dark out. Then everyone left. Nobody saw him after the meeting was over. He just disappeared. Which meant...
前原さん、大丈夫ですか？やっぱり暑いんならクーラー入れますよ。
And then a part of me was messing with my thoughts, demanded that I didn't think any further than that. My head was pounding violently, and the fluids packed inside it, all blended together until nothing made sense. It was just about to settle, and I had been smashed and melted in a blink of an eye, no longer able to retain its shape.
前原さん、もしもし？
はい。
Oishi-san lit yet another cigarette. It was yet another cigarette but placed in an ashtray. Was it displaying the passage of time? Had my thoughts been frozen over for that long?
私、知ってる限りのことを話したつもりです。お返しに、今度は前原さんの話を聞かせてもらってもいいですよね。
My mind had become a gigantic oozing mess. My brain felt like it had been totally minced by the blades of a blender, and I couldn't think.
ほらほら、また黙り込む。もし誤解があるようなら先に解いておきたいんですがね。私は別にあなたが犯人だなんて思っちゃいないんです。
Moishi-san gave his best attempt at an adult smile.
あの晩、あなたたち4人が西宮殿に忍び込んだことは知っています。次の日にはもう村の知る人は誰でも知る噂になってましたからね。それ自体は不法侵入として問われるべきことですが、問題はそれじゃない。そこで何があったかなんです。忍び込んだ人間が次々と犠牲になるような何があったのか。
何もなかったです。
Jesus Christ, Keiichi, sweetie, just say it. Like, he obviously knows what you did, that you went inside and all that. Man, you're still afraid that Oichi's gonna end up disappearing because you would tell him. But, yeah, Jesus Christ. As soon as I said it, I regretted confirming my presence there. But I knew it didn't matter anymore.
本当に何もなかったんですか？だって、現にこうして中に入った人たちが次々と犠牲になってるんですよ。しかも、扉の鍵を付け替えた村長やリカさんまで犠牲に。それだけの事態を引き起こす何があの中にあったんです。
I was too far tired of keeping quiet about this. Perhaps that was Oishi-san's goal all along. But again, that didn't matter anymore.
大昔に使った拷問道具がたくさんしまってありました。
There you go.
それを高野さんたちと見て回りました。
本当にそれだけ？
本当にそれだけです。
I mean, from Keiichi's perspective, yeah, basically. He wouldn't know if there was anything else besides that. Just a bunch of torture devices, some small cages here and there, a statue of Oyashiro. Would the statue of Oyashiro be that important thing that causes this chaos? Nah. Could it? Is it the case of that is it the case that those who are locking that the place shall never see what Oyashiro actually looks? Because otherwise, I don't know, like the story would have made like a point of showing us how Oyashiro looks like. So it doesn't seem like it's important how they look like. So it would be something else. Maybe there is that person that is hiding inside the storehouse that I was mentioning before.
口封じをされるようなとんでもないものが隠してあったんじゃないですか。例えば覚醒剤の山とか。
Oh, wait. Psychoactive drugs?
消しの秘密工場があったとか。あるいはソ連か中国あたりの拳銃が山ほど積まれていたと。不審な木箱やコンテナが山積みされてませんでしたか。
There was nothing as exaggerated as what Oishi-san was hoping for, but I felt like in a way there were plenty of terrible things hidden in there. From the perspective of someone who viewed the storehouse as sacred, whether or not I thought I had seen some crazy things didn't matter in the slightest. The four of us broke the taboo. Punish us. That should have been what happened.
西宮殿に何か秘密があるんじゃないかと思って捜査令状を請求したんですがね。もう空前絶後の妨害工作がありまして、信仰の対象に対する侮辱であり、憲法で定めた信仰の自由をなんたらかんたら。いやもうだから実際に入ったあなたに聞くほかはなかったんですよ。
本当に古い錆びて埃をかぶった拷問道具しかなかったです。他に目立つものなんて何もなかったです。
Maybe if Keiichi were to mention that sound that Shion and Tomitake mentioned, that Shion and Tomitake said, maybe that would bring an idea to Oishi. Maybe it's something maybe that is what he needs. However, Keiichi is more than likely not going to think about that because he doesn't see it as that important. Probably. Or he wouldn't recollect it. It's more than likely something that he would forget by this point.
では、富武さんたちが殺されたのは禁忌を破ったからという制裁だけなんですかね。
I didn't have an answer for the only part.
もういちいち隠しませんけどね。あなただけが今日まで被害を免れてるんです。あなた以外は全員が消えたのに、あなただけが無事なんです。あなたが無事で、あなた以外が被害に遭う。どんな違いがあったのか、それが知りたいんです。
There was something wrong with what Oishi-san was saying. You alone. You alone. Yeah, what about Shion? You were mentioning as if she disappeared as well. Oh god, don't tell me that she did. What?
ちょっと待ってください。あなただけがってどういう意味ですか？
ですから、あなただけが最後の生き残りなんじゃないですか。
Oishi, why are you playing with us like that?
西宮殿に忍び込んだコソ泥4人組の
The only one left alive? Hold on. Shion was still...
あの晩に富武二郎さんと高野美代さんが死に、翌日園崎紫音さんが失踪しました。
What?